The language of science in the Royal Melbourne Botanical Gardens. Acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge and respect the traditional lands of the Aboriginal people. We respect all the elders, past, present and future. We ask all people that walk, work and live on traditional Aboriginal lands to be respectful of culture and traditions and work together as one to better Aboriginal health. The place in which I have chosen is the Royal Botanical Gardens. It's a living green space in the busy city of Melbourne. As a teacher, it drew me to think of this space for exploration, for where children have opportunities to inquire, learning and discovery at their own pace. It's like a museum with a collection of artefacts, history, living animals, Indigenous culture and so much nature-based learning. As you walk through the majestic space that's central to the natural world, you grab glimpses of the Melbourne's architecture and landmarks peeking through the sky and nature. I embark on this heritage walk by myself this time, as I have travelled this path with Uncle Trevor once before. Travelling this walk together had given me a deeper understanding of what caring for country really means, and as well as connect with the Kulin Nation. I find myself always reconnecting back to this space as I acknowledge that I am entangled and implicated in colonial histories. The history of the gardens as it was established in 1846 by John Arthur and John Dalshin, they were the first curators, and in 1873 William Guilford was appointed the first director, as well as the credit in being the architect of the gardens that you see today. In 1958, it was titled the Royal Botanical Gardens Melbourne, presented by Queen Elizabeth II. The gardens are set on 36 acres, facilitating a physical outdoor learning environment in a diverse way, it being the third teacher providing children with opportunities for child-led learning. The language of science speaks to me in the Botanical Gardens. It's a place that's full of trial and error, predictions, correlations and reasoning, skills that can be afforded by science as children investigate the world around them. Biodiversity science is seen here. There is a variety of life essential to maintaining living systems, seen throughout the garden. This is nature that we need to ensure that we are looking after it and caring for it today. The garden is full of biodiversity, with living animals, insects, plants, trees, fungi, even algae interacting together. It's intriguing to explore and view the ever-changing elements around. The garden is never the same, especially during the 4 seasons. Our 4 seasons are unique to Australia, just as the Indigenous community connects to their land. They have their own seasons which correlate to the Kulin Nation and the Botanical Gardens is on. It has 6 seasons we can track, observe and compare information to. Identify the current seasons that the country is currently going through, and what native plants are blooming and maturing, what weather changes and climate changes are happening, and the animals and insects' life cycles which are currently happening. Walking through the Botanical Gardens, from my observations and explorations, the science of the ecosystems play a huge role and have a distinct connection with the living species around. These include the distinct assortment of high grounds, waterways, native plants, and the Oriental Lake. Even the way the garden is designed, forming forests, seas of flowers, even the resource of science to educate others of the Indigenous culture around them. The story of the fallen tree in which the trunk lays in the garden as an artefact today, its roots have been destroyed by the lack of care from humans for nature, was shared to me by Uncle Trevor. The science of the process and pursuit of obtaining new knowledge displays the importance of understanding interactions of humans destroying its ecosystem and finding ways to stop this happening. Having a discovery of soil microbes and species sustains biodiversity and functioning of the ecosystem. The Earth's fungi in the garden is providing the native garden with recycled organic matter to provide nutrition and soil balance for these functioning ecosystems. As I extend my inquiry in observing the garden, species diversity deepens throughout the high trees, secluded corners. I discover there are many species of birds, animals, insects, reptiles, mammals and amphibians that are living in this magnificent space. This leads to the discovery and definition of what living species are found in the natural area of the gardens. This contributes to the diversity of the wildlife through direct experience in their habitat and their survival mechanisms. As you can experience the garden, you can hear the vocal sounds of the Australasian swampen pecking and the glass singing, the brown tree frogs croaking and the black swans splashing. You can't help but wonder of their identity, their habitats and their adaptations through the sounds of their living species in the garden. The extension in the inquiry of these animals is important to know their names and to connect with them on a deeper level. Furthermore, their connections to the Indigenous land. It is the primary vehicle for children to connect with their nature and evaluate upon their knowledge of their exploration of science and species in the local area. The Melbourne Botanical Gardens is a walking curriculum that exemplifies children as well as adults' imagination of the language of science. This is a rich learning environment that leaves everyone feeling engaged, active in their bodies, and connected to place in their local natural world.